الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا محمد عليه الصلاة والسلام وبعد. I'm recording this because there are people who benefit, alhamdulillah. There's Brother Ghazali from Toronto. So I'm mentioning his name so that he can hear it when he receives it. Jazakallah khair. So he, alhamdulillah, he's following with us. Jazakumullah khair, all of you. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. Today I want to share with you quickly from the beginning, from the book of Imam al-Suyuti, Al-Khasa'is. He calls it Al-Khasa'is al-Nabawiyya al-Kubra. And he has made it, another scholar has made a tahdhib, which is a summary, some sort of a summary. And he did something which is common to scholars today. They made sure the ahadith were authentic, and they removed all the weak ahadith, and they even removed the Israeliyat. So, as if to tell us that Imam al-Suyuti was not scholarly enough to do that. But Jazahumullah khair, it's good that we have the authentic ahadith. The problem with removing al-Israeliyat is that we remove a lot of the benefits. Why did the scholar put the Israeliyah there? Because there is a benefit, there is a meaning that he meant to show. And he's saying this is from the Old Testament. And the Prophet ﷺ said, حدثوا عني ولو آية ومن كذب علي متعمدا فليتبوأ مقعده من النار وحدثوا عن بني إسرائيل ولا حرج. He says, transmit from me, even if it's one verse. And he says, anyone who lies about me or on me, let him prepare his spot in hellfire. But when it comes to the Old Testament, say without any fear. ولا حرج. It doesn't mean that we're going to say something and say this is authentic. Scholars have put conditions. They have put conditions. We don't say this is sahih. We say neither it is sahih, neither it is da'if, because we don't know. But if the meaning is pertains to the original principles of Islam, then we accept it and we benefit from it. So Imam bin Kathir, a lot of the Mufassirin, Imam al-Suyuti, a lot of these scholars use Israeli. Anyways, so he removed all of this and he did an incredible job. Jazahullah khair. And I'll mention his name, Hafidahullah, Sheikh Abdullah al-Tulayli. And the Imam we are speaking about today is Imam al-Suyuti, Jalaluddin al-Suyuti, Al-Khasa'is al-Nabawiyyah al-Kubra. And today I will mention one story. And he starts in this book by mentioning how the Jews, especially the Jews, knew of the coming of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Christians as well. So we will not go through just one story, and this is something which many of you have heard before, and this is the story of Salman al-Farisi, rahimahullah, radiyallahu anhu wardah. He said he was a young man. كنت من أهل فارس وكان أبي دهقان أرضه فكان يحبني حبا شديدا. So he used to be from the people of Faris. This is the Iranians, and they used to worship the fires. And his father was a great priest, and he used to love him very much. But one time he said, I have a piece of land that needs to be taken care of. So go and take care of it. So he left in the morning and he never came back. In the evening, he got so busy, he stayed, he heard a church and they were singing. And they were doing dua. And they were giving maw'idah the whole day. It attracted him, and so he listened and he went in. And when his father knew about this, he took him in the house and he chained him. He chained his feet. And as he was in chain, the fathers they love their children, so it wasn't very harsh. He could hear people from outside, so he told them, when you have someone come from outside, let me know, like the Christians, so I can go with them, so I can leave and go with them. So they came, and when they came, he took the chains off his feet as if it was very easy, and he traveled with them. And so he went to a to a place with them, and he lived with an old man who was a priest, above the priest, al-asqaf, sahib al-kanisa. So he was with him until he passed away. But he saw what he was doing. He saw that he was taking the money from people and save it for himself. So when he passed away, he told the people that this man was just taking your money. So the people decided to crucify him and to stone him. And he looked for someone else. So he found another great Christian monastic, and he stayed with him. This went on 3 times. So he stayed with one. He was very old, and before he passed away, he told him, "Tell me, who should I go? Who else is there who is still alive, who follows your religion of Tawheed?" So he says, "Go to this person." So he went, and he stayed with him, and before he died, he told him to do so as well. So he went to Ammuriya in Rome, and then this went on 3 times, and the 4th time, the man who was about to die told him, "There's no one else left on this path of Tawheed, but you should go to," and he described the land of Medina, the place where there's a lot of palm trees, and there will be a man who will be sent. This is the time. This is the time that this man will be sent. So he went. He had at that point a lot of property, and he told a caravan to take his property and to allow him to befriend them to this land. Before they reached that land, they sold him to a Jew, which was not far from Quba. They sold him to this Jew, and he became the slave of this Jew. And he kept serving him. And one day the Jew said, someone came to the Jew and he told him that the man which we were expecting has come. And he trembled. Salman al-Farisi trembled, and he told him, "What did you say?" And this Jew slapped him on the face very harshly. And Sayyidina Salman al-Farisi simply wanted to know. It didn't bother him. He just wanted to know who was this man. So the same day he went and he looked, and he asked a woman who was from his country, another Iranian who lived in Medina, and she told him, "Yes, this man is coming from Quba." So he was still in Quba, and Sayyidina Salman al-Farisi was in Medina. So he went to see him, and the same day he brought them sadaqah. The last priest told him that this man does not accept sadaqah. He accepts gifts, and he has a seal between his shoulders, which is the size of a dove's egg, which has a little bit of hair, and it's a seal of prophethood. So, and he accepted the present. So he went and he offered him the sadaqah, and the Prophet ﷺ did not accept it. And he told his companions to eat from it. And then he came back later and he offered them a gift. And as the Prophet ﷺ was standing, so the story is really in two parts. He came to see him, and he had a rida. And Salman al-Farisi went around him, and the Prophet ﷺ told him, he saw him do that, and he told him, "Are you looking for this?" And as he saw the seal of prophethood on his shoulder, he broke down crying, and he started to kiss the Prophet ﷺ, and told him to come in front of him. And he told the story. This story, in details, was told to the Prophet ﷺ and his companions. So he told them everything, all of this that happened to him. And he told his companions to help, go Katib. He told them, "Katib, go and tell your master how much does he need to buy you, to buy yourself." And he gathered all the money. And I don't want to get into the details, but it was very beautiful the way he put it. The Prophet ﷺ and his companions found what needed to save him, and he was saved. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This really deserved an entire hour because of the details and how the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the mu'jizat, the miracles of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and even the path that he took, that he looked for teachers. He looked for guides, for mentors, for sheikh, all across, all along his life and in this journey. All of these are deserving of a longer time, but inshallah, maybe another time, inshallah. So today we will continue in our fiqh of awani al-dhahabi wal-fidda, the vessels of silver and gold. And the last thing we mentioned, I think, was the ring. Wasn't it? The last thing we were speaking about? What did we say about the ring for men? What can we wear? We can wear silver. Huh?
Isn't there like a rule under 2 dirhams or something?
Correct, 2 dirhams. About 5 grams. So the condition of a man to wear this silver ring is that it must be very light and it should not have more than one. متحدا ولا متعددا. And it has to be very light. But so what happens if he wears a large ring? It's permissible. But we said, the last point we've made is that if it is fulfilling these 2 conditions, when the man makes wudu, he doesn't have to remove or shake his ring. He can just leave it there and do the wudu. That was the last thing we mentioned. And the next question is, قال المؤلف رحمه الله, he asks this question, هل يجوز اتخاذ الإناء من أحد النقدين للقنية والإناء المغشى بأحدهما والمضبب والمطلى? Is it permissible to use silver or gold plates and vessels and so whatever from gold and silver vessels or utensils? والإناء المغشى, and whether it is plated. What about if it's plated? والمضبب, if it is broken and then it was made to come, how do you call that? To join together, to fix. So if it's cracked and you fix the crack with one of these metals, can we use that? The answer is يحرم على المكلف ذكرا كان أو أنثى اتخاذ إناء من ذهب أو فضة ولو لم يستعمله بالفعل. It is not permissible, it is haram, it is haram. So it is haram to use any of these utensils or vessels, whether it is in silver or gold, for men or female, if it is to be used. فلا يجوز اتخاذه للدخار أو للعاقبة. Even if you say, I keep these things for, you know how for savings, for the future. If you have gold plates or gold or silver, I'm going to keep it for like a bank. Not even. So we cannot even use these vessels and these utensils, if they are silver or gold, for future savings or bank savings. بخلاف الحلي. الحلي is simply ornaments that women use. Women use bracelets and use necklaces and rings out of gold, but it is permissible for men or women to keep these huli, these ornaments or these jewelries for الدخار. يتخذه الرجل لعاقبة الدهر فجائز لأن الحلي يجوز استعماله للنساء والإناء لا يجوز استعماله للرجال ولا النساء. Because women can use it, the man can make use of it for future plans, keeping it for savings. وكذلك يحرم تضبيب الإناء المتخذ من الخشب والفخار والإناء الصيني والتضبيب ردب كسره أو شقه بأحد النقدين. So if you have any vessels which is from baked clay or wood and it has broken or it has cracked, it is not permissible to use gold or silver to fix that crack. And I asked the question about the sabha. Remember I told you no one can answer me that question? Can we use the sabha, which is made out of gold or silver? I asked Sheikh Abdullah Haddad in Fas, and he told me there is a hadith, which I don't remember. He says, you may use silver because of the hadith of the man who told the Prophet ﷺ, I love to use, to have ornaments in my sword and my al-jamal, and my ni'al, and my shoes or sandals. I love to use ornaments, so it's permissible to use anything which is permissible. So silver is permissible, you may use it in your safha. But he said, wara'an, to be safe for your own iman, it's preferable not to. For your own iman, don't use that. I told him, what about gold? He says, not permissible. So the answer is here, alhamdulillah. So we have the answer that I didn't have last week. وأما الإناء من النحاس أو الحديد ومنها الركاب إذا طلي بأحدهما فالمشهور فيه الجواز. Apparently the vessel which is plated with copper or iron, it's permissible. Wallahu alam, I am not going to dwell too much on this. For the woman, she can use all of these things, she can have, I guess, tasbih with gold, because it's permissible for her to use gold, but it's better for her not to do it. Wara'an ad-din. So we're starting a new chapter today, Sidi Abdul Rahman. We're starting at Tahara. So what did we just finish? We finished the elements of najasa, the elements of Tahara, and elements of najasa. So at-Tahara is usually everything that speaks about wudu, tayammum, ghusl, and the things that pertain to water, and the places that we pray with on, and the things that we wear. So the question is, قال المؤلف رحمه الله سيدي محمد العبد القروي ما هي حقيقتها وكم أقسامها? What is the reality? What is the definition of a tahara? And what are the groups or the categories of a tahara? الطهارة, the definition of الطهارة is رفع المرتب على الأعضاء كلها. رفع المنع المرتب عن الأعضاء كلها is to, this is very interesting, even between the schools we have different definitions, but they all mean the same. For the masses, for us, al-awam, it all means really the same. What is a tahara is what helps us waive the things that prohibit or hinders us from praying, from doing the things that are so anything which helps us to waive the najasa, or the things that don't allow us to do what we can do with the tahara. رفع المنع المرتب على الأعضاء كلها. These things which have to do with our members, our body. وهي الطهارة الكبرى. So there are three forms, three categories. The first one is the great or the major tahara, which is al-ghusl, washing, taking a shower. أو على بعض الأعضاء وهي الطهارة الصغرى. Or this tahara could be the minor tahara, and that's called ghusl. والمسمات بالوضوء والمراد بالمنع الحالة التي لا تبيح للإنسان يؤدى عبادته. So this, what are we waiving here? We're waiving something that has held us from doing ibadah. كحالة تلبس بناقض من نواقض الوضوء المانع له من أداء الصلاة مثلا والطهارة قسمان. And the reason why I'm reading this is because I haven't prepared. I was at work this morning. So we have two tahara. So we said that there are three categories, and we've only mentioned what? Tahara al-kubra wa al-sughra. Tahara al-sughra is wudu and tayammum. So there's three. Wa taharatu qisman. Tahara, there's two categories itself. The tahara, taharatu hadath wa taharatu khabath. Taharatu hadath is the things that happen or that you perform to remove the things that are incidental, going to the washroom, passing wind, sleeping with one's spouse. What taharatu khabath is the things that we perform, the tahara that we perform, to remove the actual najasa from your body or from the place that you pray on. Taharatu hadath wa taharatu khabath. وَمَا هُوَ الْحَدَث? So he's going to explain to us the definition of the purity of al-hadath. وَكَمْ أَقْسَامُهُ. Al-hadath, we said, is the things that are incidental, like going to passing wind and so on. هو المنع المرتب على الأعضاء كلها هو والحدث الأكبر الموجب للغسل أو المنع المرتب. So we just mentioned this earlier, which is the two categories, which is the major and the minor. ما هي طهارة الخبث? And I think I've explained that as well. What is the definition of the khabath, the actual physical impurity? إزالة النجاسة عن ثوب المصلي وبدنه ومكانه وتكون بأي نوع من أنواع المياه. And this is done by washing. So how do you remove this tahara, taharatul khabath, this impurity from your body or from the place that you pray, or we remove it with water. This is what we know, and removing it either from your body or from the place that you pray. هل تنقسم طهارة الحدث وبأي شيء تكون? Do we have further categorization or subcategories of this taharatul hadath? This taharatul hadath, when we do remove this impurity to go and do ibadah, there's two types. One of them is ma'iyya and the other one is turabiyya. The first one, we use water to remove this impurity, meaning wudu and ghusl, and the other one is turabiyya, which is called at-tayammum. Turabiyya, because all the schools agree that at-turab is what helps you do at-tayammum. There are differences of opinion. We will speak about the tayammum, inshallah, in the future. But that's the reason why we call it turabiyya, because all the schools agree that you can do tayammum from the soil. Next question, ما هو الماء المطلق? And this is, I think I've mentioned before that this is a huge chapter. Water itself is a very complicated chapter, but the Malikis make it very simple. It's the most simple in the Maliki. They're asking, what is al-ma'u al-mutlaq? Al-ma'u al-mutlaq is the water that we can use for tahara, and it's called al-mutlaq. I don't know what is the perfect translation in English. So al-ma'u al-mutlaq has two conditions. You need to have two things in water so for it to be useful to remove an impurity. أن يكون باقيا على أصل خلقته. It must remain as it is originally. So we're not going to give it any specific color or any specific smell or any specific taste. As long as it does not change, as long as the taste or the smell or the look does not change from its original state. Because it may have an original taste, it may have an original color, and it may have an original smell. So it's saying, they're saying, أن يكون باقيا على أصل خلقته بحيث لم يخالطه شيء كماء البحر والآبار والماء. And here is giving you examples of what is الماء المطلق. And he's saying كماء البحر, the water from the sea. The taste of the sea is what? It's very salty, but it is pure. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم البحر هو الطهور ماءه والحل ميتاته. البحر, when they asked him about البحر, he answered البحر هو الطهور ماءه. It is pure. الحل ميتاته. It is acceptable to eat. It's fish, and whatever dies from, you don't have to sacrifice the fish. Whatever dies, and the Malikiya say anything from the sea is edible. So he gave some examples. Al-Bahr, the water from the sea. Al-Abar, the waters from the wells. So they may have a different taste, they may be different, but it remains originally. وَالْمَاءُ الْمُجْتَمَعُ مِنَ النَّدَى, and the water which forms in the morning from the, what happens in the morning when it's, what's it called? The dew.
Mist?
Mist, yeah. That water, when it collects, that water is tahir. Okay? بعدما كان جامدا والذائب, and ice or snow, if it melts, it is tahir. Are we okay with this? So all of this is ma'un mutlaq. ما هو الماء مطلق. So we just finished this. And the second condition for having الماء المطلق أن لا يتغير لونه ولا ريحه بشيء يفارقه في الغالب من الأشياء الطاهرة أو النجسة. So if it happens that this water that we just mentioned gets mixed with anything najis, or even not najis, and it happens to change its smell, its taste, and its look, like water, and you put rose water, you put rose in it, or something which has no color, but it has a taste, and it's not najis. If it has changed its taste, then it's no longer mutlaq. It is no longer permissible to use for tahara. The ruling, what is the ruling for the water which has become changed? ما هو حكم الماء المتغير? What is the ruling for that? إن تغير الماء بنجس فلا يستعمل للعادة ولا للعبادة كالدم والجيفة والخمر. If that water becomes najis, if that water becomes different, okay, anything that touches it from najasa, like urine or blood or anything of that sort, if it changes one of its characteristics, then it's not permissible to use neither for tahara nor for drinking, nor for food. وإن تغير بطهر غير ملازم له استعمل للعادة دون العبادة. And we've just given that example. If water changes because of something which is not najis, like rose water, it tastes different, or it became water with some milk, so it looks milky, that water may be used to drink, but it's not permissible to use for tahara. What about the water which is in some bodies of water or some waterfalls, or it's underneath a tree that has a certain leaf, so the leaf falls and the water changes color? What about that? Like a mineral water that tastes like something, like it's metallic, or water that's underneath a tree and it has turned purple. Can we use that for tahara? Ashan?
Mineral water. The
Mineral water.
mineral water is originally
It's original.
tasty something,
But it's original. What about if it's underneath a tree and the leaves are falling?
also this.
I know his answer. What's yours?
It changed color, right?
It changed color.
So it's not tahir.
It's tahir. It's a natural type of change. It's a natural change. Okay? So mineral water or water that's transformed because there is leaves that fall from the tree, those are not the same thing. What is the type of water which is makruh to use for tahara? ما هو الماء الذي يكره استعماله في الطهارة? The water which is makruh to use for tahara. يكره التوضؤ والغسل بالماء القليل الذي كان استعمل في واحد منهما الماء الذي حلت فيه نجاسة ولم يتغير كل قلتها ولو كان استعماله في طهارة الخبث والماء الذي ولغ فيه كلب. This is mashhur in the Malikiyya. Very, very interesting point. If you have water, whether it's little or large, and something has mixed with it, and it has not changed any of its characteristics, nothing, it becomes makruh to use. And this happens usually when it's small, when it is a small amount. It's we usually fear this from small amounts. That's why I'm telling you that the Maliki opinion here is a very, very simple, simplified thought. In the Malikiyya, a dog is not najis. So you may see me walk here and pat a dog and he may lick my hand and I don't have to wash my hand or my clothes. So for the Malikiya, is the saliva of a dog, the tears of a dog, the sweat of a dog is not najis, and his body is not najis. When the dog licks that water, the dog puts his tongue in the water, in the Malikiya it doesn't change. There's nothing happens there. They still say it's makruh. خلاف الأولى. This is because the other schools think otherwise, then we follow the other schools. So we make it makruh. We don't make it haram or najis, but we make it makruh. So this is the mashhur in the madhab. And the same goes with any form of najasat, not just the saliva of a dog, but even the urine. If the urine falls in a bucket of water and nothing has changed, you can make wudu, but it's makruh. Al-wudu'u wa fara'iduhu. Finally, we start the actual wudu. What is wudu and what are its pillars? Before starting, I'm going to open the floor. What is the pillars of wudu? What are the pillars of wudu? Sidi? 7, mashallah. What are they? Mashallah. What are they? Uh-huh.
النية واليدين والوجه واليدين النية والوجه واليدين والرأس والرجلين مدى الفور
ما شاء الله.
continuity.
Sheikh Salah is a faqih. ما شاء الله. So he without reviewing or anything is right on. Right on. There's 7 of them, and it's exactly like that. I'm going to read it for you. So, what are the pillars of wudu, and what are they? Assalamu alaikum. What are the pillars? Before starting, I'm going to stop here so I can change the